Hi everybody, my name is Juan. I am just one reader, and a while back ago I made a video on my favorite books of the year so far, and I realized how much fun would it be to talk about the least favorite or the worst books, most disappointing books of 2016 so far. So that's what I'm doing right now. I selected seven books. One of them I don't have a physical copy of because I read it on my Kindle. But these are seven books that were just incredibly disappointing and or I just didn't like and were not for me. So I will just explain quickly two things. First, how I rate books on Goodreads. If I give a book 3 stars, that means that it was okay. I enjoyed it. It was a pretty solid book. Yes, I would not reread it. I would not maybe recommend it, but it was good. If I give the book less than 3 stars, so let's say 2 or 2.5 or something along those lines, that means the book was ish, it had problems, I was not very satisfied, but it had some redeeming qualities, kind of. If I give the book less than 2 stars, that means the book was just not good, it was not for me, I didn't like it, no, I wish I hadn't read it, etc. If I give the book the 1 star, that means that book should go. Like it should be incinerated. No, I'm kidding. No book should be incinerated. All books should live. But yeah, just no. 1 star, no. So the other thing I wanted to say before starting, just as a disclaimer, I don't think this disclaimer should be necessary, but maybe it is. I'm going to talk about some books that a lot of people actually love. Not just love, but really love. So some of these books are actually included in some booktubers' favorites of the year. So these are just my thoughts and this is just my opinion, and I will try to be as objective and not rude, but if I say something harsh, this is just my opinion, okay? So let it slide. So I will be talking about this in my level of according to the level of my enjoyment. So the first I'm going to start with the books that received a 2.5 rating, and then I'm going to work myself down to the books that had 1 star. So, firstly, I have Sons and Daughters of Ease and Plenty by Ramona Ossibel. She wrote A Guide to Being Born, a collection of short stories that I actually consider to be one of my favorite books of the year. So, it's really ironic that she also has a book on my worst books of 2016 list. And this was just quite disappointing. And in my opinion, it had a lot of potential. It had good literary moments, but it was just badly executed, and she just kind of lost it. And it could have been much better, but I only ended up giving it a 2.5 rating. Then I have a book that a lot of people adored, and that is The Lie Tree by Frances Harding. This one I started out really enjoying. I loved the writing, how beautiful and sophisticated it was, but after 50 pages, I was just so bored, and that never changed. I was never engaged with the characters or the story. I just found everything ridiculously boring and quite pretentiously well written for a YA, and it just didn't resonate with me. It was not for me. I gave it 2 stars because I did appreciate the writing and the historical, very atmospheric feel that it had to it, but that was about it. Then I have another book that a lot of people really adored, and that is Our Endless Numbered Days by Claire Fuller. It really pains me to say this about such a beloved book, but I just didn't enjoy it. I enjoyed the beginning, maybe before everything starts happening, but when shit goes down, it was just disappointing. The big reveal plot twist at the end was did nothing for me. I saw it coming right from the beginning. It was just so predictable, and I didn't really care about the writing. I didn't really care about the characters. It was fine, and I can definitely get why a lot of people really love it, but for me right now, it just didn't work, and I gave it 2 stars. Then I have the book that I read on my Kindle, and that was The Price of Salt, or Carol by Patricia Highsmith. I never saw the movie Carol, but I did want to read the book, and man, that was boring. It was incredibly boring and disappointing. I thought the writing was okay. I mean, nothing spectacular, but nothing altogether that bad. The characters were kind of annoying and kind of let me down. And they were just so boring. And the relationship between these two women was just awfully boring. I was never interested, and I gave it 2 stars too. Then, moving on to the 3 books that received 1 star. First, I have The Legend of Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving. This was so boring and so disappointing. I know it's a classic and it's like a very, very short novella or a short story, but it just felt like I actually wish I hadn't read this because I don't know, it tampered with it messed up my memories of Sleepy Hollow, like the movie and everything that I knew about Sleepy Hollow. I could have easily stayed with those things, those memories, instead of this. I just didn't like it. It was boring. It was just like one big, long, dry fairy tale, which I guess was good, but it just didn't work. So I just didn't care. I was like, okay, so what's next? 1 star. Then, of course, I'm going to mention. You knew I was going to mention Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, so I might as well just say it quickly. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child by Jack Thorne and John Tiffany. Um, I already did a separate review. I have mentioned this book on and on and on. I will not repeat myself. I just think this book, even though it was good to see some characters again and go back to the wizarding world and everything, I think this book messed a lot with the plot, and the plot itself of this book was just very, 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 very bad and very poor. And I wish they had gone in a different direction because it could have been quite successful as a screenplay, script, whatever it is. And then for my top worst book I've read so far this year, The Girl with All the Gifts by M.R. Carey. This was easily another 1 star rated book. I just know this book was so badly written, in my opinion. It felt very cheap. It felt like mass market. Yeah, that's what it felt like. Mass market, cheap thriller, bad sci-fi, kind of cool original premise, but it was like watching a bad thriller movie. And they're actually turning this into a movie, I think this year or next year with Glenn Close, and I'm really looking forward to the movie because I think it could work a lot more as a movie. But the book, oh man, I hated the writing. I hated the writing in this. The ending, I will say the ending was good. I actually liked what they did with the ending because it's not what a lot of other authors would have done with the story. So the ending was, kind of acceptable, but the rest was, and this is a long book. This is like 400 pages of nothing. I just felt like it was so boring. And, one of those books that it's action, 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 and I'm just so bored. So yeah, hated this. Although the ending was kind of acceptable, but yeah, would never recommend it ever. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Those were my least favorite, most disappointing books of 2016 so far. Hopefully, that will be it for this year. Hopefully, I will only read great books from here on out until the end of the year. And I will see you in the next video. I hope you comment and we can have some respectable and polite and hopefully objective conversations about this book. So I'm sorry if I offended you a little bit with my opinion. I hope you can take it as what it is, just my opinion. And thank you for watching. I will see you next time.